to Living Magically, this week's astrological and energy update with your host, Magical Michelle. And what a big week we are having. We are now deep into the Samhain Halloween portal. And I wish you a happy Halloween, a happy Samhain. There's a lot of different ways this particular holiday plays out. And it's interesting because it's in so many different cultures that we have some form of honoring our ancestors, honoring the veil between the worlds, because it is so thin right now. And for the second week, I've got outside interference, so I do apologize for any outside noise. I'm doing this live and anything can happen live. So bear with me, it will be done in just a couple minutes. In the meantime, let's talk about what is going on. We have Scorpio season. We are deep in Scorpio season. In fact, this is the center, the exact middle. We are just coming off of that Taurus eclipse. That was that big, humongous Taurus full moon eclipse over the weekend. And now we're in this next era, which is going into the dark moon. And it's interesting because there's different ways you can celebrate this particular holiday and all the holidays around it, like Day of the Dead. So it's in so many different cultures. And one of the ways that you want to think about it is that there is this veil, and this veil comes with our ancestors being able to communicate with us through spirit. And that's where this holiday really originated, was an honoring and a celebrating of those who've crossed. And so a lot of times it's specifically those who've crossed this year. So one way I would celebrate this particular week is to possibly put a plate of food out, or to place a name or a picture of a loved one and just really honor them. It's a tradition to even make the favorite food of someone who has crossed at this time. Be open to communication, but also be open to putting a little bit of white light protection around you, your house, your family, your animals, because especially with that full moon eclipse hangover, because a lot of us are feeling a little bit, especially Sunday, Monday, people are feeling a little bit drained from that moon being so intense. And it was beautiful. Those of you who got to see it, it was an absolutely beautiful full moon this week. And so as we move away from it, the sun is going to be in Scorpio, and it is moving through to become the new moon in Scorpio. And that will happen in 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks from now, exactly. And during that, you're going to see astrological Samhain, which is on the 15 degrees of Scorpio. You're going to see that the weekend of 11/11. And so what's happening here is the moon disseminates. It becomes smaller and smaller in the sky until it completely disappears in the sky. And at the next new moon, we'll have our first new moon without the eclipse energy. So we do have the leftover energy of this eclipse for these 2 weeks. What is it we're clearing? What is it we're letting go of? What beliefs are we ready to change? What beliefs are we ready to ignite and claim new ones? So it's a good time to celebrate your ancestors. You see the Day of the Dead, November 1st. You see American Halloween on the 31st. And today, if you're watching this live or even listening to it on Monday, not Tuesday, you're seeing All Hallows Eve, where this is where the Celtic tradition would honor the spirits and say that between here and November 1st, the veil is the most open for spirits to come through. And the way I see it is this portal is now open all the way until that new moon. So you have a 2-week time to celebrate your ancestors, to connect with your team on the other side. Now, when we work with our team on the other side, we want to honor them. This is done sometimes with offerings. Sometimes that is placing a little cup of sometimes we see spirits used, a cup of wine, a cup of alcohol of some sort, because spirit, that's why we call alcohol spirits. You never really say, let's go to the bar and have some spirits. No, we actually call alcohol spirits because it does connect us with the other world. So this is why it's often a good offering. One of my favorites is Godiva chocolate liqueur because a lot of my ancestors have a sweet tooth. So a lot of times that's what I will use. And it is an incredible time for healing, that which you could not say to somebody that's on the other side. So are you needing personally to go into some forgiveness work to someone who you can no longer have a conversation with? This would be a time to forgive them, bless them, and send them on their way. If there is somebody that you're mourning that crossed over this year, it's an incredible time to place a white candle in your window to help them get to the other side. It is also an incredible time for you to let go of old things. Scorpio season is all about the death of one identity, or in this case, an ego death, and a rebirth of a new version of you, kind of like a snake shedding its skin, which is why you often see snakes associated with Halloween. This is an incredible time to do that. And of course, it's a good time for play and for fun. One of the reasons why I love costumes is that we can actually embody the costume of what we're trying to bring into our life. So I often like to use a costume as a form of play, because one of the things that actually creates brain elasticity is play, laughter, play, fun, levity. We don't get enough of that in our world with all the things that are happening. So embarking on these outfits, embarking on a little accessory, a celebration. Halloween is meant to be a celebration, and it isn't just about giving little kids treats and candy, but it is a lot of times the reason why I like to have little kids dress up is it gives them a chance to say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? What challenges are you wanting to overcome? And they often pick something that they desire to be. And so maybe think about that. What mask are you placing onto you? In the fairy realm, we call it the mask of truth. When we put on a costume, or we put on an outfit or a hat. This is a great hat. This is a Tabitha creation. I've been doing a lot of black rose and purple rose things, and so she made this beautiful hat. I know if you're listening only instead of watching the video, you won't see the hat, but it is really adorable. So when we put on an outfit or a costume or an idea, you're actually embracing a part of your creativity. And that is what I'm going to ask for you to do right now. What are you putting on? What mask are you putting on? A mask of truth, a costume of the senses. And this will go on now for another month or so as we embrace the end of 2023 and into 2024. This is the Witch's New Year. So really, in a way, some of us will actually see this as a beginning of a new year. So this is a great time to write out your New Year's resolutions. And I don't love the word resolutions, so I'm actually going to say write out your New Year's intentions or goals or interests or ideas. This is a time to get creative. So journaling, painting, any kind of art, we're seeing your creativity come to life. What are you giving birth to? What are you creating in your life right now? This is one way to embrace this energy. And anytime you are ending an eclipse cycle and moving forward, there is an ending to an old you and a beginning to a new you. And this is going to last up until the next new moon. And then you're going to see it at 30 days after the full moon. You're going to see it at 90 days after this, and then you're going to see this really resonating out in 6 months. So what is it you're embracing? What is the old identity that you're letting go of? And I know there's a really big energy for bringing in your dreams come true right now. There's no fear right now in love. And there is a ton of reasons why the regular media wants us to be afraid. There's a lot to be afraid of right now in the world. And the more and more I talk to those who are new thought providers, the more I'm hearing that we are now becoming the warriors of the new earth. We should not be afraid to state what we want to be, not be afraid to tell people our dreams, not be afraid to tell people who we are. And this is going to be a really big theme for the next 6 months, is that I remember people telling me I can't talk about Reiki because Reiki, which is an energy healing, if you're new to what Reiki is, was once considered a taboo subject 20 years ago when I took my first Reiki class, 22 years ago to be exact. I've been a Reiki master for over almost 15 years now. And I remember people saying, you can't tell people what you're doing. They're gonna think it's witchcraft. And now it doesn't matter what religion someone is. We are seeing Reiki being brought into hospitals. We're seeing it in the mainstream. Reiki is an energy that refills us and restores us. And that light is brought into our body. And that light is our birthright. The energy moving through us, love and light and joy, it is not weak. There's no weakness in spirituality. There's no weakness in healing. There is a warrior energy actually to this energy. And I know sometimes we think love, light, and joy, which is one of my favorite mantras, by the way, love, light, joy, just to integrate those words. Love, light, joy. I learned this nearly 25 years ago from one of my mentors, Hillary. Love, light, joy. It's one of my chants whenever I'm trying to overcome a negative emotion. I want to re-embrace love, light, and joy. And that sounds like it's like really woohoo and foofy. And it is perfect for overcoming anxiety. It is perfect for embracing a deeper association. It is perfect for reminding yourself who you are and what you stand for, and therefore becoming a warrior of light, becoming a warrior of love, becoming a warrior for joy. And that just, like I said, seems counterintuitive, and yet that's what we're here to do. There's strength in it. There's power in it. When we are aligning to the light, and that's my new coaching program, if it's something that you're interested in doing, is moving out of fear into love and aligning with your truth, aligning with your next upgrade, this would be a program for you. And of course, my Living Magically coaching program is always available. But let's say you need something a little bit more more quick and to the point. And right now, aligning with the light is what I'm working with right now. So that being said, how do we do that? Well, the first thing to do is when you feel out of sorts, and we all have that moment. It could be because it's Monday. It could be because the moon was full. It could be because somebody spilt your coffee all over your brand new shoes. It doesn't matter. Whatever happened that took you out of alignment, the really important thing is to return to alignment. The important thing is to course correct and be out of alignment for as short of a period of time as possible. And we call this being out of sorts sometimes. And when that happens, we want to just say, this isn't how I want to feel. What I really want to feel is this. So you're going to name the negative feeling. You're going to say, well, maybe I feel like I have an ache in my neck, or I feel like somebody is putting pressure on me at work that I don't want, or it doesn't really matter what that is. You're going to name the feeling. And then on a frequency chart, you're going to decide what is it you want to feel instead. And I have 4 virtues to look at. Look at whether you need courage to get out of it, because sometimes it's easier to be angry. Sometimes it's easier to be resentful. Do you need courage? It is also sometimes courage that can propel you to move when whatever it is that you have been wanting to do seems just a tiny bit out of reach. So align with courage, and that will move you into love. Another pillar for this would be to move toward kindness. If you're being mean to yourself, are your words that you're saying to yourself or to another person the opposite of kind? In which case, how do I reword this? How do I make restitution for my words? And how do I start being kind to myself? How do I talk to myself more lovingly? How do I talk to my pet, my parents, my kids, my coworkers, my clients, my boss, whoever it is? How do I bring more kindness into what I'm saying? The next would be to have more compassion. And I want to be careful, because I don't want you to have more empathy. Compassion is going to, however, bring you to a place of love, less judgment, more compassion. And that's going to just pop you right into love. And then the fourth one that I'm working with here is that you align to the truth, and understand that your truth might not be another person's truth, and your truth today might not be your truth as it was 6 years ago, and your truth today may not be your truth tomorrow. But you want to move into what is true, and then figure out if there is any way you can be more kind, more compassionate, and more brave with that energy of courage. So there's a few really important tips and tricks for this particular Samhain portal. So as we are celebrating those who have crossed over this year, and I do want to say we do have one of our Soul Circle members that did cross this year. So we love you, Pamela Marie. You made a big, huge fight in this world and a big difference, And so now I'm so happy to see you on the other side with all of your beautiful, amazing animals and friends in spirit. I wish you a happy crossing over that rainbow bridge. And so just as simple as that, I honor all those who've crossed over this year. And in that same manner, how are you going to let go of your ego and cross the bridge into transcendence this Samhain Portal season? Where is your personal death and rebirth? Where is your phoenix rising? So there's a lot to unpack this week. We have Halloween, we have Samhain, and like I said, the Samhain season for me will go all the way until the 15th of November. So it's a big time to feel inward. If you feel like you need to be quieter, we're going to have the time change this weekend. We're going to find that days get darker and darker. And so we want to often turn more inward. It's okay. It's okay to bring yourself to a more centered, a more grounded, a more quiet place this week. It's going to naturally happen this week and next week. You're really going to have that full moon eclipse hangover as we go into these 2 weeks. The veil is going to be thin. So it's okay if you feel like you need to get more sleep. It is a very common reaction. There's a lot of ascension going on where we're becoming more 5D. What does that mean? Some people may not know what 5D means. We live in a 3D world. And as we embody the virtues of love and not fear, the more we get away from the 3D fear mongering, we start living from a place of open-hearted love. And so to do that, often we have to take the time to make this transition within ourselves and to make this transition as we gather and we gain new communities and we often leave behind. It's okay to leave things and people and experiences behind that no longer serve you in a way that is the version of you you're becoming. So step into that version right now. It is a stepping through a portal. There is definitely a portal of transformation. There's always transformation happening, but there's never a more magical time than the Samhain season. So allow yourself to deeply dive into whatever the loving part of your heart is calling you to. And this might mean you are more creative. It might mean that you're more at rest. And it might mean that you're even more just quiet, allowing yourself to sleep. And even me, I had crazy lucid dreams last night where I know I was in the dream world, but I also was making things happen. And this is how we are in this total transformative portal. Samhain season. So as we step through this, be kind, be loving, be compassionate, trust in yourself, trust in your path. One of my favorite sayings, and we say it here at our house all the time, is everything's always working out for me. Everything's always working out for me. Everything's always working out for me. And just remember that sometimes when it doesn't appear to be going so, in hindsight, it was always working out for you. And when you stay in that zone, when you stay in that feeling, it's always true. So maybe you are on the fence for Witchy Weekend. We do have an empty room, maybe two. If you are interested in our premier retreat, it is in New Smyrna Beach, over that 11/11 weekend. Please let me know if you are that last person that is ready to sign up, because we have this amazing, beautiful, beautiful fire that we're going to be doing with Patrick. I see Patrick on right now with his comments. Patrick's going to come out and do some drumming and gong ceremony at the beach with the bonfire, and we're going to be burning away the old and igniting the new, and of course living in our beautiful, luxurious bed and breakfast with amazing food and great hosts at the Anchor Inn at New Smyrna Beach. So if that's for you, let me know. In the meantime, be gentle with yourself, be loving to yourself. Remember, everybody else is going through this, so be a little bit more kind and compassionate to everybody else. And remember to live magically.